make your bed, do the dishes.
It's the accumulation of all the small messes in our mid-marriage life that create drag.
And what is drag defined as? Resistance and friction.
So get in the habit of plowing through the easy stuff so the resistance and friction of life is minimized.
Let's say that again.
Don't underestimate the resistance and friction that small messes make.
Do you as a couple find it easy to be neat? Both of you are neat?
You can turn the video off now.
Yeah, it's not
Not for
really
you.
for you. However, if you find that one of you is really neat,
Or both of you are not neat.
yes, then we might have something to suggest. In our relationship, Rob is the neat one. He will put things away.
I like things neat.
And I'm not so neat.
But we still get along.
Yeah.
So
We-
the thing is knowing yourself, but let's first talk about our environment today.
Well, we are now living in 282 square feet.
For the last couple of years.
That's not very large. We downsized a house after 30 years of marriage to 10 by 10 by 10, our stuff, which is in a storage. And we're living in 282 square feet.
RV.
I'm here to tell you, you don't need as much stuff as you think you need.
2 forks, 2 knives,
No,
couple
no.
plates.
4 forks, 4 knives.
Yeah.
Anyhow, you don't need a bunch of stuff. It's easier, there is less resistance and less friction, the less things you have.
And I think when you get to this point in mid-marriage, it's not uncommon to have a lot of stuff.
You've collected over the years, sure.
We're not suggesting you need to move into 282
No,
square feet.
no.
But working on downsizing is the first step to becoming organized.
Yes. And the second step,
Is you need to decide who takes responsibility. We were at a conference a couple years ago with Gary Chapman.
he's the author of The 5 Love Languages.
Great speaker, great writer. And he talked about when he and his wife were first married, he was finishing his PhD, they lived in this small apartment. And she had this habit when she was in the kitchen or bathroom of opening a door or drawer and leaving it open.
And that irritated him after a period of time. So he asked nicely, he said to her, please, could you just shut the doors and drawers when you're done?
And she changed for a short time, but habits that are ingrained into us go back.
And then once she was again leaving the doors and drawers open,
Well, he got a little more adamant, this is very important to me. She changed for a short bit, but it went back. What's going to happen? Well, then she got pregnant and
the child was born and started walking
he thought
around.
for sure
And
that she would have
It
them
just
closed.
so happened that at one point the child, as you might imagine,
Open
walked-
drawer,
walked
fell,
into-
hurt, cut the...
and he was positive, this is it. This will change my wife's.
behavior,
Yes.
which it did for a short time, he says, but then it goes back to who we are. So he said we have, in every case, 3 choices. One, he says, I could take her out of the equation. But he says, I don't want to spend the next 25 years in prison. Or I could take me out of the equation, but then what have I got? Or I could take responsibility for that role. So he actually, I love what he did. He actually opened all the doors and drawers and timed himself of how long it takes to close them all. And it was like 12 seconds. And he multiplied that over. If he had to do that every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, it's just over an hour a year.
1 hour a year.
For him, he says, well, I can take on that responsibility.
My marriage is worth an hour of a year.
So I think in our relationship, it was a no-brainer for me to say, I'll take on that responsibility.
Rob feels good. It's a sense of
Accomplishment.
when the drawer is closed and when the
Or
thing is
cleaning
put back.
things up, but it's about also finding on a daily basis.
And living in a small space, you realize how very important it is to be neat. So
To address the resistance and friction that can come up, address them on a routine and an everyday basis and decide which one of you are going to take on the responsibility.
and to make it easier, get rid of a few things. You don't need everything you think you need.
Decide. You can do it.